We are live on the Virtual Grip Network from Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee, and it's time to grab your rodeo hat because it's going to be a wild ride. But before we kick open that gate and let the bulls loose, let's go over what happened last week while it's still calm in the barn. Last week, saw an early lead from the trash man Daniel Hill vanish right before our very eyes after he suffered the old internet bugaboo. This allowed Tom Ogle to sneak in there like a smooth criminal and take the checkered flag at the Darlington Raceway. Going back-to-back has Tom oozing confidence. Can he take that confidence and lean on it as he tries to survive a place that has coined the phrase, rubbing his racing? Can Daniel Hill find a way to climb his way back up to the top of the hills in Tennessee? We're about to find out as we get ready for 250 laps of non-stop action at the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway for Week 9 of the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. YesterYear, where past meets present. I'm Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, John Hine. We're lucky enough to have the heartbeat of VGN bringing us all the sights and sounds, the one and only Ryan Seneker. You know, John, I'm going to keep it short and sweet here tonight. The Bristol Motor Speedway has been a staple in NASCAR since the late 1960s, promoting some of the best side-by-side bumper-to-bumper action that all NASCAR fans crave, which is why since 1978, we've been stopping here twice a year. John, you know, this was a little before my time, but some of the most exciting finishes, you know, we can remember in NASCAR history. One of them has to be when Terry Labonte crossed the checkered flag sideways with a little help from that legendary black number 3, Dale Earnhardt. You know, tonight I expect a little bumper-to-bumper, good hard racing, but they have a 9X incident limit here. So 250 laps at the Bristol Motor Speedway. How the heck do we survive this place tonight?
Well, guys are going to have to be smart. They're going to take care of their equipment, especially their tires. The right front will definitely have some wear to it here with the banking and everything else when they catch the cars. But, you know, this is a great last Coliseum. You know, Thunder Valley, all the great titles that this old girl has here. And I'll tell you, the rattle his cage that Earnhardt coined back about 1995 there, that race you were talking about. Really, this track does have a lot of history. Darrell Waltrip, the winningest driver here. I think he got some odd wins here. But these guys, you know, we saw them last week go wire to wire there at Darlington without a caution. You know what? I'm not going to think anything that they're going to do anything less than that here. I know it's 250 laps, a lot of laps here, but guess what? They click off really quick. These qualifying times are 14 seconds. So you're talking 3 laps a minute, you know, 4 laps a minute here. So, I mean, they are going to click by in a hurry if you got green flag, which is going to bring me to pit road and pit stops. I know we talk about it every week, but pit strategy, once again, I think might play a part in who wins here tonight. So I can't wait. I'm ready to buckle up myself and watch these guys do what they do. And, man, I can't even predict a winner here because this field is tight. 7 guys within a tenth of a second.
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, we get to cheat and look at this, but he's talking about qualifying right now and make that 8, 9. It's unbelievable how quick and fast these guys are. But, you know, John, we talk every week, you know, sometimes you got an undercut, sometimes you got an overcut. Now, if we see the tire fall off, I know, you mentioned 14 seconds a lap. You want to go out there, you want to put quick times down, but a green flag pit stop, you might go 2 laps down here. So, I mean, do you want to be the first to come down pit road, or do you try to stay out there and go as long as you can tonight?
Well, personally, I would stay out there until I absolutely had to come to pit road. Yeah, you will lose 2 laps if you pit under green here. No doubt about that.
And we're coming up, qualifying, getting to a close here. We have a pretty large field here tonight. I believe 33 drivers around a banked half mile. If something happens towards the front, man, you are going to have to be ready, have to be paying attention here as we go out throughout the race. Things are going to happen really quick. But let's take a look at the starting grid here for your OBRL YesterYear starting lineup at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Row 1, starting on the pole, Tom Ogle. Can he go back to back to back? Josh Robinson, defending champ, to the outside.
Dwayne MacArthur is going to roll off third. Next to him will be the trash man, Dan Hill.
Row 2 to the inside, or row 3, excuse me, Don Easterlin to the inside, Chris Bates to the outside.
Yeah, this week's guest on our VGN Weekly podcast, Daryl Weiniger. We'll check him out on Tuesday. He was our guest, like I said. Next to him will be Courtney Nelson.
Inside of row 5, Lloyd Moore to the outside, Kelvin Monsieur.
Roger Hurley and Greg McDaniel will occupy row number 6.
Row 7, Alan Wanamaker to the inside, James Hislop to the outside.
Sean Foltz, Andrew Koska starting in 15th and 16th.
The boss man, Victor Lane to the inside of row 9 to the outside, Crisco Robert Morisco.
Brian Lynch and Bob Fellenbaum, they're going to round out your top 20.
Mark Schrader to the inside of row 11 to the outside, Jerry Isaacs.
Dave Mattson and Tommy Amassi, 23rd, 24th.
Andy Thomas to the inside of row 13 to the outside, Michael Dow.
Brian Lindsay and Bill Martin are going to occupy the next row.
Larry Corey to the inside of row 15 to the outside, Andrew Medley.
We got Bruce Pearson, John Hastings starting 31st, 32nd, and 33rd will be Torrance Childs.
I was a little worried there, John. That's why, I tried to go with the quick grid. Man, we did that quick. They just started rolling. There's no worries here. I was, Bristol, I feel the
I think
pressure.
that's called being efficient. That's what we're being efficient.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do here. We're going to have a long time to talk, but not a lot of time until they get ready to roll here. This is going to happen quick. And, Tom Ogle, what more could he want than to go back to back to back? We haven't seen it done this season. Josh Robinson, he's your defending champion for a reason, did well here at Bristol last year, and looking to keep that momentum rolling. And John, we got another half a lap. I mean, if you were Tom Spotter here, what do you tell him? Does he have to get up front right away, or you just kind of let the race pace?
Well, considering how many cars were starting here and how short this track is, I would be more concerned not so much the start of it and getting settled in, but I think these guys up front are going to hit lap cars pretty quickly on here. So watch for that and traffic to be an issue almost from the get-go.
Well, as we roll through 3 and 4, should see the pace car dive off. We do, and 33 cars get set to play at the Bristol Motor Speedway. 250 laps to play. We're underway. Oh, man, Daniel Hill right away with a mistake there. And, oh, man, Chris Bates, lucky he was up there on the wheel. That could have been big, but he reacted, got on the brakes, and, man, early scare.
Yeah, and real quick on the start, 2 guys had to take end-of-line penalties from last week. Larry Corey and James Hillsop. Both of those guys were sent to the rear.
Yeah, he goes by Lucky Larry, so we'll have to see how the luck is tonight. Gonna need some cautions, I think, if you want to navigate your way up towards the front of the pack after starting in the back. But, you need them timely. Need to pick off a couple people here and there. And, something interesting, John, we were both out there test driving a little bit. Our wonderful producer kind of warned us. You're diamonding down. If you're running that bottom, well, your tires are going to go away. And I think some of these guys got the memo. We didn't used to see this in the late, early 90s running the high side in Bristol. This is kind of a new thing since the resurface.
Yeah, I was about to say that. If there's ever a track that you may not get the qualifying spot or you got an EOL, this is a good track to do it because guess what? You're going to have options. It's not going to lock down to one lane. You can run them top, you can run low. Heck, you can even run through the middle and make time here. So this is a good track for passing.
And Josh Robinson, we've seen him just take it easy in the past, but we're watching Kotska do the exact opposite, man. He is rolling that outside. He's one of them that, John, we always think, he's coming through the field pretty quick. What kind of tire does he have left? And then he stays out there the longest. He is just somebody who blows your mind. And, the way he controls this, well, there he slides coming off before, not doing a very good job there. He's going to have to let him come back.
Yeah, you want to limit your slide jobs here for sure, because that's one surefire way to eat up both your right side tires.
Victor Lane looking to the inside here as we come across the start-finish line, and Victor, one of the guys trying to make the pass on the bottom. I don't think he's necessarily getting out of the way here. He's trying to make it roll. But you see center off, the car just wants to float up. And when you have that car on the outside, John, it's either get into him, get those elbows out, or roll out of that throttle and, just let the grip come to you.
Yeah, to make time on the bottom, on corner exit, you really want the car to float out to the wall. Well, that's awful hard to do when there's somebody sitting there to your outside. But early on, I'd be a big fan of putting my car up top and running the boards, just because if you're up there, you're not putting as much wheel into the car, you're taking care of your tires. Good way to settle in and then start picking guys off, maybe by using that diamond, where you go in high and you come out low on the lower part of the corner. That's a great way to get momentum to start a pass. So, yeah, I would be up top for sure early on.
You literally just coached Daniel Hill through that move. It didn't work, but you can see him trying to drive up the hill here as he enters 3 and enter a lot higher than that 83, and he just marks it down center of the corner, tries to get that drive. You can see him pull up on MacArthur, just not close enough really to think about that big send or the old Rubbins Racing here at Bristol. I think it's just too early for that, John.
Well, it is too early for that, but it's all about getting timing. Now he's got a good run there, a good look to the inside, so he's getting that timing down to where he can make that run without having to lift and just let momentum just take him right on by, or at least give him position going into the next corner.
And, how hard is that? We just noticed Daniel, the guy in front of you, they run that bottom, the line ahead, and then you carry all that more momentum on that top shelf. I mean, how tough is that to react there for Daniel? Because, obviously that's not a big brake jab, but you're expecting that guy to go down to the bottom. That can really throw you off, shake the weight a little bit, can't it, John?
Oh, absolutely. 2/3 of making a pass is anticipating what whoever you're trying to pass does. And if you guess wrong, that's where, your contact comes from. But yeah, guessing whoever's in front of you, guessing, hey, what line are they going to run? Where are they lifting going into the corner? Where are they picking the throttle up? There's a lot of things for you to calculate when you set up a guy to make a pass.
Yeah, and we're privy to that. A little contact there between Lloyd Moore and Chris Bates. That's Lloyd on the bottom, Chris up top, and now we got a car spinning sideways, as it looks like pretty damage-free there. That could have been bad for Courtney, but it looks like these things have pretty good bodies, John. We've talked about them before. It looks like that thing's still pretty good.
Yeah, and let's just be honest here. This is not a track where aero is going to be too big there, but I talked about it earlier about the back end coming out of the corner. We talked a little bit before the race. That's going to be an issue, and that was just a one where I think Courtney might have just got a little too aggressive on the throttle coming out of turn 3 there. He was really lucky not to hit that inside wall. I'd say that's half luck and half driver skill that kept him out of that wall there. Nice job, and he's going to continue, no problem.
Yeah, it says a lot about those drivers behind him too. Letting him catch that up, kind of backing it down, and that's kind of some responsibility of the driver. You're going to get some guys, and let's be honest, a lot of guys, John, in other leagues where they may see that smoke, they may know the caution's coming, but just maybe got that devil on their shoulder, telling them to be a little too aggressive. And these guys have just showed time and time again that their discipline is unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, the nice thing too, when you're behind somebody and they have an issue like that, you can actually see that they're in trouble 9 times out of 10 before the driver in that car knows they're in trouble. So you can start to make your evasive action before the driver's usually even trying to save their car.
And it's early. We'll let them catch their breath here a little bit. Too early to pull anyone up and really put the pressure on. But we were watching before that caution, that 26, and Lloyd Moore was one of those guys I was about to mention up near the top of the practice lap times. Now, obviously, John, it's hard sometimes to go out there, cold tires, put down a quick one lap, but this practice times, they carry over, and Lloyd, this may be a track where he can try to get himself into the playoffs. Maybe his best shot.
Absolutely. You know, those lap times when somebody's really good at a place like this, you know, you've heard the term short track specialist, you know. So there's guys that are really good on short tracks, like there's guys that are really good at plate racing. So this is definitely a specialty niche that these guys can fall into, but good opening laps here.
Yeah, that early 2000s Kurt Busch is who I think of short track specialist. Man, he'd come here in that Sharpie machine, and you might as well give him that trophy before the race even started. But they still got a big fight going on here. You got MacArthur on the outside. Ogle getting set to bring us back to the green flag. Here's the pace car, dives off. He's going to enter that Geico restart zone, and he's going to drop the hammer. That is a great restart. So good that, you know, normally we see that guy inside row number 2, John, kind of get that jump, but he caught the trash man sleeping.
Yeah, you have the advantage when you're the leader.
Oh, Lloyd Moore put it on the bottom, 3 wide, and I couldn't tell. That was Easterlin, who I think in that 07, who said, guys, it is way too early for this. He backed out of it, but I told you, keep an eye on that 26. He is ready to go.
Yeah, it's so tempting when you've got a good car under you and you know you're better than the guys around you to stay patient there. And you know, race car drivers, I say it a million times, are greedy by nature when they get on the track, and they can power around guys. It's tough to stay disciplined.
Yeah, and it really is, John, you know, because a lot of times I'm that guy making the move early, and I feel like, you know, we got the crafty veteran letting me go by saying, go ahead, kid, burn up those tires, destroy what you got. You know, we've got so many people out here, so many different strategies. I mean, 250 laps. We got a long way to go.
Yeah, we sure do. And the first few laps here have been an indication, though. Caution, you know, even though we had a caution, these guys are kind of dicing it up a bit.
Yeah, and you're seeing guys really now. I mean, after that first run, now we're seeing a lot more guys go up top. I think they've kind of read the room, realized you need that exit speed, that it just isn't what we're used to here at Bristol. It's tough to get it done on the inside. I mean, you can do it with new tires, but the longer we go into a run, John, the more that car is going to want to float up to the outside wall like you talked about. And I just see passing really becoming limited. So while you've got the tires, I think you got to use the pace and go for it.
Yeah, I agree here. And we're now, you know, 30 laps in here. I think now is probably when they're going to start to feel maybe a little bit of different in their tire, where they might have to lift a little bit earlier. You know, if you're already running the top, might be a little bit harder to keep that car off the wall. So guys are making adjustments right now, I think, in these cars.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of off the wall there, that 77 was close, but the last time Chris Bates, Ryan had just caught it on camera, bounced off that wall. I mean, these guys up front, they're trying to roll, and they're using every inch of this racing surface. But something neat, and, you know, he's kind of doing his own thing. He's still quick. Josh Robinson kind of running similar to what Matson's doing right there. They're both running that middle low line, not going up as high as everyone else. And John, do you like it? Do we not like it for tire wear? You like it?
No, I like it because you can let the car roll. You're controlling the pace, and you're not getting up nor the wall where you might knock a fender in or anything else. So you're preserving your car, and you're doing it while leading the race. That is called best of both worlds scenario right there.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, we may talk about, you know, these cars definitely a little more durable than the old NASCAR cars of the past, but you go in there, you bend that right front fender at a place like this, John, where you really need to make sure you got good tire wear at the end of a run, you are going to feel it if you throw the balance off.
Well, yeah, or if you hit it hard enough and start to bend the suspension in that right front, and then you're going to find your car really push, and you're going to find tire wear really excessive as you go on after you clobber that right front.
I believe we got, Andrew Medlin in the 104. He's trying to work around that Red Bull car, but got wings up there on that high side. That 82 looking pretty good, but the trash man, he's sailing it in. Those guys, I don't know how they do it, John. It looks like they're driving it in so deep, they just turn that thing right down in the center. As 78, we saw him get into that early spin. Maybe a fresh set of tires is the medicine here for Courtney to try to drive that thing back to the front.
Yeah, on this track, I mean, it's not a secret. I'm a dirt guy, and I'm going to tell you, this track runs a lot like a dirt. You drive it in there, you kind of let the car float up towards the wall, and then you drive it right back down the hill. And if you're ever in a dirt car here, that's pretty much the line that, to make time, that's what you want to do.
Leaders going by lap traffic. 105 does a good job of staying to the inside there. Now we got that Red Bull car just trying to fly up there on the outside, trying to make up pace. Dave Matson got around him earlier. We'll have to see if Schrader can get by Matson here, but Matson, he's another one using that Josh Robinson roll in the middle. That blue Navy machine making up some ground, and I'm anxious to see the tire fall off here. Come lap 6, there we go, slaps up that outside wall. I just feel like sometimes, John, I know we said we like the middle a little bit, but sometimes you just want to pick that throttle up a little too early. You think it's stuck, and man, that wall will creep on you.
Yeah, it'll reach out and grab you. I mean, you've got to be precise when you're letting her float up there to maximize your speed. I mean, you really have to run it right up to the wall.
And there were 3 wide there, but the lap car does a good job of getting out of the way. And, something, might as well talk about it while we have a long green flag run, Saw a couple guys come down pit road there under caution, but under green flag here, you see, there's the front stretch pit road. Now we're going to go around the back stretch here. We get another pit road, and they're separated. You've got to remember what pit road you're on here, John. This is super important. You cannot make that extra trip down a long,
Oh, we got a caution here.
Oh, but the caution flag waves. We got going around, I believe, Roger Hurley involved in that 77. It is him. And while the car doesn't look too beat up, sitting up there on the outside going a lap down, that's going to hurt the cause here for the 77. Wow. That, I don't see that often, and I don't really want to blame the 77 for that. You kind of reminds me of almost something that can happen mechanically to you, John. It just seemed like maybe the wheel quit out on him when he went up to the right, and see, it doesn't really turn or come off. There's nowhere to go.
No, it looked like he had a really bad push coming out of the corner there, and it's really tough to see if he doesn't look like he lifted. So, yeah, it just kind of pushed up and put both Gurisco and himself there into the wall.
Well, interesting. Bunch of the leaders pit, but if you notice, there's one leader who didn't pit, and it's the trash man, Daniel Hill, gonna stay out front. Let's see, do we pull him up here, try to get his thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Daniel, Shaggy in the booth, man, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Oh, man, staying out. What are we thinking here? What are the tarot cards saying? Why'd we stay out?
Well, I mean, we got 3 sets of tires, and I kind of want to save a set in case we get a late caution, so I figure this is the time to gamble now.
I like it. We see a lot of guys rolling the high side. Is that kind of to conserve tires, or is that where we're finding the most speed out here tonight?
I think it's kind of both. Kind of trying to go with a high entry, low exit to kind of keep the right front from getting destroyed, but also it's kind of the fastest way around. I mean, you can run some fast laps at the bottom, but I really feel like the top to the bottom is the best way to roll.
I always do the buttering up here, Daniel. John comes with the real tough question, so good luck.
Hey, Daniel, how long can you stay out before you got to come to pit road?
About 132 laps.
Okay. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I'll probably go as long as I can. Just depends on what everybody else does. But I think that we're all going to have to pit at least one more time anyway, so it doesn't really hurt me to stay out here.
Well, best of luck to you. We hope we get to talk to you again a little later.
Yeah, copy. 10-4. Thanks, bud.
Yep.
I really do actually like this, John. From what we've seen, I think track position's pretty important, and the way he can position that car, I think he put himself in a real good spot to win this thing.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see how it plays out. But I think if he, as long as he stays in that line where he's diamonding, it's going to make him real tough to pass.
Yeah, and you see the pace car dive off. We're getting ready to go back underway. Daniel going a little later this time, keeping him guessing. Good restart once again, and take a look at P2. Ryan knew where I was going. Courtney Nelson, after the early spin, welcome to the top 3.
Yeah, but look at Ogle. He's the one with the fresh tires.
Yeah, this is going to be a real good test here to see what Courtney can do. Now, obviously, got fresh tires after that first spin, but I mean, still an extra 20, maybe 30 laps on him, and you can see Tom looking good downstairs.
Yeah, you can see the new tires. I don't know how long Dan's going to be able to hold those guys off. That looks like a pretty significant difference.
Yeah, and I've been lying to you guys, too. I guess, you know, with only 3 sets of extra tires there, my producer can see Courtney never made that stop down pit road. So he's still got the original tires that he spun down on the apron with. So you got to think this is going to be really tough for him to hold on. But Tom Ogle, that STP machine, wasting no time. And look at Dwayne MacArthur. Yeah, he's trying to get up and join this party. We got a 3-way here in Tennessee.
Yeah, Dan's not able to put up a big fight. Now, what Dan needs to do is just be able to settle in here, and where, you know, he's going to have to pray for a caution at some point where, you know, these guys pulls all these guys back to pit road. So he's going to have to wait maybe 30, 40 laps. He's got the ability to do it, and hope for another caution here.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, not that we want it to happen, but he's almost got to go with the do theory, you know. We're at Bristol. Maybe get a short stint here at the end of 40 lapper or so, and that's when Daniel, he'll have that extra set of tires that hopefully these other boys don't have, and come in and use them. But looky here, defending champion Josh Robinson, he's making the move onto the inside, and man, he's got Andrew Kotska looking to the inside now, a little contact. Kotska's got to let it grab, recover, and now the 15, he's going to make his move on the inside, but he's got to get on the binders. Everybody racing respectful here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we know Weiniger. You know, we see him in some other leagues. I race with him on Saturday nights, and so that's a short track guy in that car, that 15 car.
You know, interesting that you say that, John. I know we run different cars, but I can see the similarities here, especially between the pro lates. You know, I mean, do you learn anything from conserving that right front tire in the pro lates that you can translate over here to the NASCAR cars?
Discipline. You know where the limit is, and you know how to make them. You know, you drive them a little bit different, but the discipline aspect of it, letting the car roll, picking the throttle up smoothly, getting your car pointed when you do it. That's all stuff that translates. It doesn't just translate here to over from those late models to the Cup, but that really translates pretty much in almost any oval car on asphalt.
And Daniel, maybe regretting that decision here, John, gets in the outside wall once again, and man,
he and Courtney is falling like a rock. So, and he had that spin. So, yeah, not looking like it's going to work out. But you know what, though, Zach? He's got an extra set of Goodyears in there. So you know what? You'd never know how this thing plays out. That may come in handy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, John, almost playing the do theory. You know, I don't want to push that on these guys, but every race we have done has been so clean and has ended under a long green flag run. Could this be...
Oh, we got one around.
Chris Bates, and I'll tell you, John, I saw this happen live. I couldn't tell if Bates swerves to avoid the lap car and gets loose, or if it was net code.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was massive net code. Those guys... yeah. Oh my gosh. You could have fit a half a car between the two of them. That's a really tough break for Chris there.
Yeah, and you know, this is, as much as we love bringing you the virtual racing, this is probably, John, the biggest downside of it. Sometimes, you know, you're trying to give that guy room, but your computer kind of predicts you're going to go to X space when you stay in Y. You can see they never touch, not even close, really. Yeah. I mean, they've got 2 feet in between them. But now the 81 goes around, Matson involved, and the 43 involved. That's tough. That's really going to change the race for those guys.
Yeah, now, I kind of got to keep my eyes out. The way that 78 and that 7 dropped, you come in, take those tires. I mean, you're going to give up a whole lot of track position, but how much are you going to give up if you stay out there and race with all these guys with fresh tires?
Yeah, or, you don't want it to be, but you can see how quick those guys are coming, John, and we saw what just happened. You don't want to be that guy sitting still when you got the guys, coming up quick behind you. That's not the position.
No, you don't. It looks like neither one of those guys took off down pit road. But if I'm in the back, I definitely take a little bit more so I can take a little more fuel. So if we do get that green flag run, maybe I catch a break and trap some guys a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where you almost have to, try something. And I mean, let's see here. I'm going to help our partner out. John, I'll take the first question. You hit the second one. We got Tom Ogle in here with us, man. Can the 11 machine go back to back to back? You are looking good there, Tommy boy.
Thanks. This is about my favorite track. I really like it. I want us to get some long runs here so I can get some tire wear going and stuff and equalize with the guys that didn't pit. But if you can control the race, and clean air does matter here. So I'm hoping no pit mistakes and stuff. I feel like I got a shot at this.
Let me ask you, you're talking about tire wear. Once that you start to get that transition and it starts to go, I know the cars will start to kind of push a little bit. Does the racing line change a little bit? You guys are kind of doing a diamond through the corners, just real quick.
I kind of run the same line the whole time. And it does help the right front wear a ton. I actually had more right rear and left rear wear on the first set of tires than right rear.
All right, man. Well, good luck here. You're going to go racing.
Thank you.
Man, I feel like he's that comfortable, John. I think he would have stayed in here with us.
Probably so.
Interview mid-race here. He is cool as a cucumber. And look at that restart for him. I mean, this guy's ready. You heard it. One of his favorite tracks, man. He's ready to go.
Yeah, that's not as easy as it looks. Remember back in the day when I used to broadcast from the seat, dirt racing for another network. So I don't wish that upon anybody.
No, definitely hard, to focus on everything and listen to guys like me running our mouth in the background. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But man, Tom, he is trying to go here, and you're seeing that 78, John, continue to struggle. Going to stay to the inside.
Yeah, those guys are in some trouble here, and now they just got to try to minimize the damage. It's got to be really the strategy here. Alan Wanamaker, I don't know what happened to him, but he is on pit road with a lot of damage.
Oh, you're not kidding. That thing, there is a lot of damage here. Let's see.
Someone took a bite out of that. Someone took a bite out of that donut.
Okay, there was, I guess, is there no caution? Oh, okay, no, he was involved in that last one with Bates. Okay, we just didn't see him. That's sorry about the speechlessness. I was trying to find it out there for everybody, but yeah, he was involved in that one. Was kind of collected late, got piled up on the inside, so it just kind of slipped us. And I'll tell you, somebody else who ain't slipping, Don Easterlin. Oh, John, I thought he was going to go 3 wide there in the middle. When the trash man got in the outside wall, Easterlin is ready to go.
Yeah, at this point, you got Easterlin there, Jerry Isaacs there. He's just gonna feel like a train's going by him. I hate to think. Somewhere, you know what though? We talked about this in past races. Somewhere along the lines, the new guys are going to knock the good off their tire, and the advantage that those guys have are going to go away with him. And maybe he'll be able to get some of those spots back if we get a long green flag run, and these guys have used up their tires a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like, whereas we saw kind of Courtney go to the bottom, I feel like Daniel's trying to add to that a little, John. Maybe take that racing line away, make those guys with that good shine go to the inside, beat them up a little bit, so that way maybe I can stick around and use you as a pool around here. But Dave Mattson going around that 78, we saw he was involved in that accident, so Courtney Nelson. He does not want this thing to stay green too long. Or, John, we may get to the point where some of those guys may go a lap down. Is the 43 going to come make a green flag pit stop? This cannot be scheduled.
No, it definitely cannot be.
Kelvin Monsieur, a little bit of damage on the front of that 43. Maybe got in the outside wall a little bit, but he stopped short in his pit stall, and you see him disappear. So I think Kelvin had enough here at Thunder Valley. He's going to call it quits. We got a battle here. Is that Andrew Medlin looking on the inside? It is under the 26. Medlin, one of those guys, John, rookie number, got to start in the back of the field here. Would you believe it if I told you he started 30th and is already up to 7th?
That's what you call a good run.
Yeah, no kidding. And, it's not like he did it with any tomfoolery, pit under the yellow flag when everyone else pit. He is just driving this thing up the field and right up there on the tail. I mean, he could reach out and almost touch P2 just right up the road, about 6 or 7 car lengths. So got 2nd through 7th right there. Tom Ogle kind of trying to wind this thing out a little bit. He warned us. He said he wanted that long green flag run, and Tom's got this lead stretch to up over a 2nd. And John, you do that 14 more times, he's going to be seeing their P2's back bumper.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing and stay disciplined. I know I probably wore that word out a little bit the last couple of weeks, but staying disciplined at this point when you've drove around that many cars, it's not always easy to do. You kind of feel like Superman.
I know it's obviously you're the leader, John. You want to stay disciplined here. But if you're Josh Robinson, defending champion, you're sitting there in 3rd place. You can kind of see your buddy in the 11th, Tom, just pulling away. I mean, do we start to get more aggressive? And just as I say that, he's actually running the bottom here, trying to work the inside. And maybe trying to find a way around that 83, because we've seen him run up behind, couldn't get the run, and now he's fishing down low.
Yeah, well, and those two guys, I believe, are teammates. So, here's the thing about teammates. You race them harder than anybody else because you want to beat them. You're happy when they win, but when they win 2 or 3 in a row, you get tired of it. You want to that sense of urgency and that urge to end that becomes a pretty powerful mechanism in the brain.
And not a teammate, but a guy who's been competing with him there, Andrew Kotska. He's reeling him in too. He's coming, but check it out there, the double deuce ripping the outside. The Red Bull machine trying to look to the inside. That of course is Mark Schrader looking underneath Bruce Pearson. But Bruce in that preferred line, and now Schrader maybe going to lose a spot. John, you go down low, you try to make a pass, but you get out of that preferred line, you give it up, and here comes Brian Lindsay.
Yeah, I've been watching this group for a few laps here. They've been trading spots back and forth. One would get out in the front, and then someone would try to make a pass, and I mean, they've been the 4 of these guys, and Vic Lane was part of this just a couple of laps ago. These guys look like they're having a lot of fun.
I was just about to bring him up, John. You got the boss man a couple car lengths behind you. Do you have to play a little nicer here? We got some slow cars. Oh.
Yeah, Jerry Isaacs. Those are guys that were up towards the front.
Yeah, not too sure what happened to Jerry. Let's see here. It's him and Easterlin had already made contact probably at that point. That's tough here. I'm going to see if I can...
It's kind of a bizarre... Oh, contact out of the corner.
Yeah, you're right.
Isaacs tried to lift to give that spot back to Easterlin is what that deal was there.
Yeah, definitely John, it's kind of... Especially when you're all friends out here, and that's something it's neat. We actually talked about earlier. There are few guys that are willing to show their class like that. You go up there, you make a mistake, not the way you want to be known as a racer. You just lift that throttle, you let the guy go right on by, and it makes us think that much more of the driver of that 51. To have your head down, you're upset, you maybe made a mistake, but you make the right decision and give it right back. Well, I just got handed some very valuable information while you heard us all being quiet. It's written right in the rule book. Whenever you make some contact, you give that right back. But I can tell you, you write that in your rules, John. That's why we get such good a racing, and I think, why we see that respect level on just a whole other level.
Absolutely.
Here, we've seen Daryl Weiner. We still got the 07. I believe that's Easterlin. I'm starting to remember these guys' names here. Ryan changed that nice new. He gave us that nice new overlay up top. See, now I do see that 07 Easterlin 18. I used to cheat, use that thing on the side, but these guys, when you have such good paint jobs and you race like that, you start to burn a hole in my memory. Starting to get you a little bit. Got the boss man on the inside there in the 10. Just trying to nurse his way on by. I think he's having some handling issues, just trying to stay to the inside.
Yeah, the guy that's having handling issues is that 22, Bruce Pearson. He's the one I've watched now. I think he's kind of maybe lost some of the tire wear, some of the grip levels he's had, because he's struggled here over the last maybe about 10 laps.
And this is where, you start to lose grip coming off the corner. You got to be careful. I mean, he's in a battle here with Easton. You don't want to get on the throttle too hard, watch that thing loop around. I think he felt that, just let Easterlin go by. But there we got in the wall. And look, he just behind John. That's your leader. Things happen quick.
Yep.
Tom Ogle, he is pacing himself here tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to create a big sense of urgency for these guys in front of them, because they do not want to go a lap down, I can assure you.
Oh, and we are on lap 111 right now, so we're inching closer and closer here to halfway. Is Tom Ogle, man, this is his sandbox here, it seems like. He is so quick. Dave, we saw him get involved in that accident earlier. Had to fall back to the back. He works around Schrader.
Yeah, and right now, Dan Hill is looking to, Dan Hill is really thinking he needs a caution right now.
So I'm hearing in the YouTube chat, my producer, I couldn't hear what was said first, but I'm hearing, John, that we're getting out there in the chat box. It is officially a race for second if Tom keeps this thing pretty clean.
Yeah, he's picking him up, laying down. I think we saw this movie yesterday in the Xfinity series with Kyle Larson. I think in that first stage he had lapped all the way up to 13th place before the first stage break even. So, yeah, but he is picking him up and laying him down. But like I said, though, earlier, Dan Hill rolled the dice, and I think he told us he could go to about lap 130-ish, somewhere right in that area. We're closing up on that in a quick hurry, and boy, that's going to be devastating for him if he's got to take and go pit without that caution.
Absolutely. I mean, if we know how tricky it is.
Look who Ogle's putting down right now too. There goes Tyler Courtney, or Courtney Nelson. Yeah, Tyler Courtney is a sprint car driver.
7 BC.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Courtney, that was one of the guys who we had mentioned earlier. I kept saying he was already on pit road. Hasn't ever come down pit road yet this race, and being involved in that first caution, that spin, definitely not helping him out. But Andrew Medlin, welcome to the top 5, finally gets around Kotska. He's a new rookie in town. If you remember, Kotska started the year with the 3-digit number. Well, he earned his. Andrew, he's trying to earn his here in the Thunder Valley.
Oh, there's a wreck right in front of the lead. On the leader's into it.
Oh, was that?
There was contact with those cars in front of them, and everybody checked up, and it's just an accordion. I can't tell who that yellow car is, but Greg McDaniel jumped on the brakes, actually. See the tire smoke. And, oh, man.
Oh, Josh Robinson there. He ends up getting plowed from behind. I'm not sure if we ended up catching that, but I would like to end up getting another view of that as well. Tom, you'd think that front end is okay there, but Josh, you can see him at the top of the screen. He gets collected, and I think he had a pretty good shot unless he was able to save that into the inside wall. I I'm looking for him right now on my personal one. But this doesn't look promising here. I'm watching it for the first time with you guys, so let's find out together here what happens to Josh. You can see him lifting. It's a shot in the back. Oh, that's a huge hit, John. Even if you turn that thing around and keep it on the lead lap, let's be honest, that's not going to drive the same.
No, he's got quite a bit of damage. Ogle did not have any damage here, but yeah, Josh has got a lot of damage. I don't know how much. It looks like it's cosmetic. What I would be more worried about, because it's right on the grill, depending how far back, I would start to kind of watch my water gauge to make sure that gauge doesn't start creeping up once you get under green flag. But man, that's a tough break for Robinson. But Dan Hill is going to be the biggest the biggest fan of this caution, because man, that's really going to save him.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That would have been. We're looking right now. We're on lap 123, John. So we're thinking. He had some help with a couple cautions, but 15 laps at most. He got literally saved by the bell here. He's going to be saying a prayer at the pit stop, thanking whoever.
Wow. Things happen in a hurry here at Bristol. I think Jerry Isaacs might be, he's going to end up with the lead here.
Yeah, he does inherit the lead. Stayed out. Everybody else on new tires, John,
Well, we've seen this movie before.
That's what I was just about to say, brother. This has been written before. And
just take note, too, on this restart. Dan Hill looks like he's going to start 7th.
Dan Hill back there in 7th. Where do we have defending champion? He's going to reline up 16. So keep an eye on that 23, too. He's got to work his way, but the green flag waves. Isaacs with a good restart there on old tires, and that's going to be important. Maybe he can go upstairs, try to cut the run down, but nope. Going to stay right to the inside. Here comes the train.
Yeah, well, he was on the verge of going a lap down. The leader had gotten probably about 3 or 4 seconds behind him on track. So, you know what? This may not be a bad thing for him if he can hold on and get another quick caution.
Yeah, you've got to wonder. We've talked about it other weeks. Is that maybe a move for, that extra bonus point? And you're not going to win tonight. You don't have the best handling car, so you're just trying to go out there, salvage what you can. And really can't blame him for trying to do that. But the battle heating up here. Look at that 59. Looking fine up top, John.
Yeah, he sure is. And
Sean,
this whole feel of this race just changed with that caution, I feel like.
Yeah, Sean Foltz got to the outside of his lap. His lap stuck to the inside. And Medlin trying to take that P5 back here. He's the next one on the list. Just rolling that top shelf. And, we've talked about this being a Tom Ogle race. Well, I shouldn't say we did. We got the chat box out there, already calling it for Tom. Andrew Medlin may have something to say about this. Can't stress it enough. Started 30th now and is battling back here for P5.
Well, yeah, and I know Tom has been extremely quick in that car. He's going to be really hard to pass. But I think we just saw, things can happen that's not in his control that can alter the end of this race.
Yeah, stuff happens so fast. John, yep. You've called this so many times. In our pre-race, you were talking about how just, these guys, they can run so well, but that speed differential, catching the lap cars that can come up and get you. And we've seen it happen once, and I don't want to jinx Tom here, but the way he's nursed those tires, he really is in a whole different weight class here at the end of that tire run, and that kind of puts him in jeopardy.
Yeah, he's the one that gets to the traffic first, and those guys might be in the case that we just saw. Those guys are racing each other for position. You might lose track that, hey, the leader's caught us. So, there's a lot of risk out there being that first guy in the line.
Daniel Hill taking advantage of those new tires here, looking to the outside. He's trying to move up into the top 5, get around Medlin, and Ogle coming up on another lap car here. So a 2 wide racing behind. This could get a little interesting.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. This is one of those tracks we haven't really talked about it a lot, how fast this track actually is. This is a thing where if you see an accident in front of you, you've got maybe a couple blinks of an eye before you're there and either in it or needing to figure out a way to get around it. I mean, you don't have hardly any time to react.
Yeah, I mean, what? This place, it's a half mile, so we're thinking, I mean, how long are we saying these straightaways are, John? 1/8 of a mile, and I mean, we're hitting 135 at the end of it. Pretty unbelievable. You've got to be up on that wheel, ready to react for absolutely anything that goes out of that windshield.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it too, I mean, we're talking 14-second laps, 15-second laps. You know, going over half a mile in that amount of time, the amount of ground you're covering, you're only looking so far out in front of you. Not a lot of time, like I said, to react.
Now Daniel trying to look to the inside of this 59 here. He had got around Medlin, and now he gets around Colts. Daniel Hill.
Oh, we got 26 around.
Up to 4th, and all this caution. John, this caution came just in time because Josh Robinson, defending champion, was right beside Tom Ogle, about to go a lap down. Couldn't have came at a better time for Josh.
Oh, that's a big break for Josh.
Oh, and there you see that 26, I believe.
Yeah, the 09 got into the wall, and he kind of checked up and kind of lost the back end. If you get on the brakes too hard, you get that wheel lock in the back.
And Lloyd Moore, I gave him the commentator's curse, talking about how fast he was in practice, and then gets that little demon to come out there and grab him. Let's see here. This is maybe a good time. Let's meet newcomer here, Andrew Medlin. Ryan, if I find him before you do, I'll grab him. But if not, yeah, I'm looking. Andrew. Oh, nope. I didn't, Ryan, because I was holding his name at the same time. Can we do it one more time? I'm a failure at life. Andrew Medlin, you are back here in the booth, man. New guy on the block, a 3-digit number, but you got a lot of speed. How we feeling, brother? Oh, Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah, let's see. Is this working now?
Yeah, it's working. How we feeling tonight, man?
I'll tell you what, to get up to the top 10 and not be DQ'd yet, I'm pretty happy about that. Didn't have so much luck at Martinsville in my debut in the OBRL, but feeling pretty good so far, getting into a rhythm, and things are settling in here for the 104.
I mean, how do we break this race down? You know, we're over halfway. Do we try to one-stop this thing? I mean, do we try to maybe go the rest of the way from here? What do we do, Andrew? How do we take home the win?
Yeah, well, first off, most of us that I'm seeing up here only have one set of tires left. You know, we're having trouble keeping that right front with some grip here, so I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it to the end, at least have some speed. So if you see another caution come out here probably in the next 20 to 50 laps, you can count on us all coming in, and including me, the 104.
Got anything for the man, John?
Yeah, as we're getting ready to go green here, just real quick, you talked about the tire wear, so how disciplined are you going to have to be to make it that 30, 40 laps before you have to pit again if we go green?
We have to try and be as disciplined as that 11 car. So luckily he's right in front of me up here in 2 rows. So I'll be watching him trying to save those front tires and take the checkered.
All right, man. Good luck here.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, how about that? I mean, what a dog. Focused on the leader. I'm going to go as hard as that leader goes. I love it. I can't wait to see what Andrew Medlin does here as the pace car dives off. The green flag is high, and it's ready to fly. Lap 145 is, or 146, excuse me. John, 104 laps left. This is going to go quick.
It is going to go quick, especially if we get another green flag run here. But, you know, we talked about the trash man, though. He's now sitting there fighting for P3.
Yes, he is, and I don't know if Kotska going to put up. Oh, yeah, he's going to put up a fight. Oh, he pushes up the racetrack, gets into the side of Daniel. Going to lose 1, 2, 3 spots here. Can he get back in
lose
line?
more than that.
Yeah, the answer is no. Dave Matson, he's got that 09 rolling. And that Navy machine, we've seen him suffer some unfortunate luck here this season. Getting involved in a lot of accidents, including tonight. But he still finds a way to keep that thing in the top 10. Great run for Dave Matson, looking in 6th right now.
Yeah, and he's been fast all season. He's just had some really bad luck here. He hasn't gotten the finishes that I think represent the kind of pace he's had.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think there has been bullseyes painted on that 09, and it seems like any time there is an accident in front of him, the magnet pulls him right to him. And it just, no matter what he does, he can't find the medicine here. You're looking at him, trying to look to the outside here. He's got Kotska right behind him.
Yeah, and I also want to update Josh Robinson now after running a couple laps here. That accident, I think he's got some serious damage because he's struggling even to keep up mid-pack there. Those guys, he's not reeling anybody in, and he's already got a distance between the first runners of the race here.
Obviously, John, you get that win, so he's locked into the playoffs. But, points racing, I mean, you got to come out here and maybe do the dirty work that you don't want to do, You find yourself in that position in the fall come playoff time. I mean, how's the car going to handle? Well, you experiment, you go out there, and you put the hard work in right now. And that's why he's a champion.
Yeah, you always see if you can get a spot or two. You never know. You want to make sure your playoff seeding is up to par here. But, the one thing I've noticed here, Ogle, this go-around on this restart, he hasn't, he's got a little bit of distance, but he has not driven away like he has the previous restarts.
I wonder if he tuned into the broadcast there Tuesday night and was listening to our other guy, J.R. Shepard, because that wheelman said, John, he stares at that relative, and once he gets it to about that half second.
Another caution. Big crash. Leaders are coming up to this crash, too.
Ooh, luckily they slide down, but here you see it's still a parking lot. That 32 doing a good job, John, doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Hold that line, and Tom Ogle going to send him a big thank you card for that one.
Well, the 24 bounced, got loose. Yeah, the 24 bounced off the inside wall and just locks up. I mean, you can see the brake, the tire smoke because he's got the tires locked up and just slid right back up into the racing line. Wow.
Yeah, that is, I talked about maybe wanting to blame the steering wheel and that other one with the 77, John. I think this is where we blame maybe a disconnect. You can see, Ryan said it perfectly in the background. Y'all couldn't hear, but those left wheels, or that left front wheel, that is just locked to the left, and it looked like he just lost control.
Yeah.
And now, we're coming, we've got 90 to go next time by. I mean, this is that I can make it the rest of the way territory, John. It didn't look like we had many takers, though. I mean,
I don't pick quite yet. I don't pick quite yet. I bank just because we've had a few cautions, unusual for this series. I bank on another caution and maybe roll the dice and see if I can't get that caution and fit then, because hopefully we can get another 20 laps in. And then I'm pretty comfortable with my tires for that run.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I like Courtney Nelson and Jerry Isaacs coming down pit road here. Top off, John, best racing we've ever seen in iRacing, hands down. I think we're going green flag the rest of the way here. I really do.
Man, if it does, those guys are going to be sitting pretty, I think. But man, the feel of the race and everything else. I mean, nobody knows. Yeah, I'll tell you, Hill has an extra set there. So while those other guys have one left, I think Hill has two left. He's gonna start on the bumper of Ogle here. So this is the first time that I think we're going to see Hill up here right with the leaders. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep with them.
Yeah, knowing that he's got that extra set of tires, I mean, I believe he does too, John. Maybe drive a little harder here, try to push those guys, make them get uncomfortable here on this restart.
That's what I would be doing, playing peekaboo in that mirror.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the 70's got to try to tighten that gap here, nail this restart, get to the bottom of that 83, and really try to push that envelope here as we're back underway. Good restart for Tom Ogle. And Daniel Hill caught sleep in there. He's got the 59 to his outside, but he's got room here. He can slide up. He's clear.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to tuck into third here and set sail now. See if he can claw his way back up to that second spot there and challenge for it.
DeAndrew Medlin there still stuck down on the inside. The 15 of Darrell Weininger trying to get into that little gap here. He sticks the fender to the outside. Andrew can go up there and shut the door if he so chooses, and he does. Gonna hold on to P5 or P6 for now, if I could count. You're seeing some of those new tires. That 78 got the new tires. Let's see what he can do with them. He needs this thing to stay green here, John. So you got to be, what do they say, that cautiously aggressive, because you can't bring out the caution that you oh so fear.
No, you can't. But the other thing too, you got those new set of field goods on your car, and man, right now he doesn't have anywhere to go with them.
Oh, side by side in front of him. I mean, this is where he's just watching that shine wash away here. So he got to get something going here. He's going to get a little impatient. Looks to the inside. Maybe
there it is.
Free wide. And Easterland, he's going to pay the price. No caution here. He's trying to get that thing back up to pace. That thing, John, seen it buck a little bit. That was a pretty hard shot on the right front. He may have to come down pit road.
Yeah, he might, and I think that's gonna kill him. His shot he had at winning that, and we'll have to see if Courtney, it looks like his car is no less, for that contact. So he still looks like he's got plenty of pace.
Yeah, that's one of them. No call out from us here, but he knows he's probably gonna pay for that one next week. So you got to go here. You made your mistake. You got to try to make the best of it. See if he can get that thing up to the front, but he needs it to stay green flag if he wants that strategy to pay off. So he got his get out of jail free card here, but I don't know how many more times he'll get that lucky.
Yeah, that's a lot, pretty good amount of contact there, and he's running that bottom, and it looks like he's having a hard time, making that work, because Josh running that middle line, trying to work on the guy in front of him. Good battle here.
Yes, it is. And all this kind of happening behind Mick Arthur there in second. He's got a quick race car, but it just seems like maybe right now Hill and Kotska a little quicker. And then, you peek a little further back, there you see those guys with new tires. So just playing a game here, trying to get this thing until it's time to strike. If you're Tom Ogle, if you're Dwayne MacArthur, John, we've talked about it earlier. If you make a green flag pit stop, you're going to go 2, possibly 3 laps down. Do you run this thing until it's completely empty, or do we try to cut it in half just for the tire difference?
Yeah, I would run it till it's. I couldn't run it anymore. You don't want to lose. You're losing 2 laps if you come under green flag.
Kotska taking a peek on the inside here for third, but it's the trash man at the line, just too powerful coming off corner exit. And now Kotska, he's going to maybe have to think about getting back up in line, because that 59 of Sean Foltz coming with a big head of steam on the outside, and looky on the inside here, brand new sneakers on that 78. Look at this strategy here, but Courtney Nelson, John, I don't even know if he's got another set of tires left. I think he needs this thing to stay green.
He needs to be patient here. I don't think he wants to see a replay of what happened a few laps ago.
Definitely not. And, got to keep relations good between us and Canada. There we go. The Canadian Kotska goes to the outside. Ooh, he brushes that wall a little bit. Courtney wasting no time.
He's
for one.
definitely the fastest guy on the track.
No kidding. I mean, driving by those guys like they are sitting still. I mean, he's not even floating up, coming off the corner, looking for that exit speed. Now he pays for it a little bit here. We got another lap car coming in. I don't think he's going to lift out of this, John. Oh, he had to. Oh, man.
Alan Wanamaker there did everything he could to get out of the way. Oh, he gets it loose. He kind of hit that apron a little bit. It's going to give Koska a little bit of a fighting chance on the outside now.
Yeah, and if you notice there, we just got to see that blue car, Tom Ogle, in that camera angle too. He kissed the outside wall there in 3 and 4, slowed him down a little bit. It has brought MacArthur and the gang right back to the tail tank. So maybe not what Tom wanted, but I think the closer you let those guys draw to you, the harder they're going to race, and that may be what Tom wants. Courtney looking to the inside here. Making it work on the bottom, but all this, John, he is working those tires.
That's what I was about to say. I'm wondering how long before that good gets kind of knocked off and you get a little bit of an equalizer in here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm no genius, but with the way he's driving that thing, you got to think that's 2 or 3 MacArthur laps worth of tread wasted, the way he's rolling that outside.
Well, and it's already turned out a win for him, because if we get another caution, and if he, in fact, has another set of tires laying there in the pits, when everybody else pits, he's on the same strategy with everybody else, but he's got to make a play for the lead here.
John, that is the first time that my caveman brain has actually processed that thought, and that is a great point. If you are Courtney Nelson now, and, a little birdie told us he's only pit twice, so he does have that other set of tires. Do you pit with the leaders when they pit? Do you stay
Absolutely.
on the same strategy?
Yes. At this point, this late in the race, you betcha.
You're exactly right, and I'm telling you, that slipped my mind, but that Courtney just being disciplined on those old tires and catching cautions at the right time may have been the break he needed, because, you see, now he got to the lead. He's letting that gap stall. He is not pushing that race car anymore. He's kind of letting that gap go right where it is. And, well, Darrell Weininger, now he's chopping down low, trying to get under the 59 of Sean Foltz. What can Weininger do here? He doesn't have those new tires, John, and he's still finding a way to make that bottom work. He is rolling that 15.
Means Darrell's looked after those tires quite well.
Man, that 15, he is ready to go here. The 59 of Sean Foltz falling off here. Maybe burn up those tires a little too much. Now, Jerry Isaacs here, who just got around Kotska. Remember, he's one of the drivers who pit there with Courtney Nelson. And I know we didn't, he's not up there. He's not up in the lead. But I think we saw 2 different driving styles. And Jerry, if this thing stays green, he may have something to say to Courtney here in the closing laps.
Yeah, but he's going to have to get up there to do it now, because if everybody's pitting, they're all going to pit together at this point.
Well, obviously, we want to go with the strategy pit with the leaders, John, especially, if you're Courtney Nelson.
Yeah, but now if you look at Ogle,
green, you got to stay out, right? You can't green flag.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't green flag. But I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to wonder how much Courtney used up his treads there, because now Ogle is back all over that bumper.
Yeah, and, Courtney's still staying on the bottom, too. He kind of had to there. You see they work under a lap car, but not really doing himself any favors. You can see, he's pulling him on corner entry. And, John, if you're pulling someone on corner entry running the bottom, that tells me one thing. You're using up that right front pretty hard.
Yeah, you are. You're sliding it across the track on corner exit, most likely. But if you look at these runs that Ogle's getting, once he exits the corners and down these straightaways, that's a big run about each time that these guys, every lap, actually, I'm seeing it.
And now Tom, he's going to have to pick and choose here. You see lap cars side by side in front. Not going to be able to come back and make the move here, but You want to do it, I think, after you've seen that 78 kind of push so hard. You don't want to let him cool those tires off and let him come back to him. If you got the pace, I think you got to get back in front of him.
You know who else I think is playing the tire game quite well? Check out who's had a nice recovery up to 5th. I watched him a little earlier, and I thought, oh, he's got damage because he's not really pushing. Well, Josh Robinson is now sitting 5th and working over the trash man.
Yeah, and I mean, that front end, I could almost have him plow my driveway, John, in the wintertime. I mean, that thing is pushed down. It is flat. But he is still finding a way to get speed out of that 23. And, I said it once, said it a million times. Defending champion for a reason, just has not given up. I mean, he was half a car length, John, from going a lap down 3 cautions ago. Unbelievable.
He was, but you know what? The battle for the lead, I think, is starting to really heat up here. Ogle is really getting some good runs coming out of the corners, but there is a lot of lap traffic here now in front of the leaders.
Yeah, and this is where Courtney, he's got to play nice, but you can't play too nice. You don't want to let Tom set you up here. And see, they're coming up on the boss man here, Victor Lane. I think Victor, he saw the writing on the wall, going to get up out of the way. And now we're coming up on a guy who's usually a contender for the front here, Bates, but involved in an early caution, found himself struggling here. And Courtney Nelson doing a good job of picking it off. And Tom, just maybe not. I can understand it, especially, with he's had a couple accidents in front of him already.
Oh,
John.
boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Everybody did a nice job there checking up, and wow. We talked earlier about anticipation. That was a classic thing where I think Courtney was anticipating the 92 to be higher up on that track, and when he pulled that car down low, everybody had to react. Good heads-up driving by everybody that was kind of in that little kerfuffle there.
Yeah, and right there, 2 cars up the road, the 26 and the 82 go high, but that 26 it just gave Easterlin a little bump there in the center of 3 and 4 last time by. So this is hard racing in front of the leaders. Tom Ogle. Oh, man, he's got to get by these guys. He can't waste time, but, man, what do you do when you got that kind of racing in front of you? Oh, he's going to have to split them.
Yeah, and that's allowed Courtney to kind of get a little bit of, now Tom's going to have to spend a couple laps trying to track him back down. But after getting through that traffic, Ogle's no longer on his back bumper.
No, and this is where Courtney, can kind of run at his own pace here. You don't want to go
watch
too slow,
how quick. I got a feeling, watch how quick this 11's probably going to, without this traffic. I bet you the 11 catches Courtney pretty quick here, compared to at least how they were running earlier with no obstructions. Yeah, he's pulling them in on pretty quickly.
So let's see, Tom Ogle, lap 121. They were telling us, 132, John? I think those guys who stayed out, it is going to be close, but I think they may be able to make this without the green flag pit stop. I mean, obviously, we get a caution, going to come down pit road. I mean,
well, if we get a caution late, let's say you get a caution on let's just say 145. Well, then what do you do?
Oh man, I think. Oh, John, how can you put this on me? I think if I'm in the top 5, okay, scold me if I'm wrong. I think if you're in the top 5, you got to stay out there, but everybody else, you got to play the game.
I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in that situation. So the guys are going to do opposite. I bet you the first couple 2-3 cars. So it's a no-win situation if you're up front and the caution comes out that far into the broadcast.
Yeah, they lapped that 59. If you remember, John, after that restart, yeah, he was running in 4th place.
Yeah,
so,
but look now, Evans caught him.
Tom Ogle all over the back of your leader, Courtney Nelson. Here he comes with a big run, John. You got to send this thing upstairs. He does.
He just drove right around him.
New leader at the line.
Oh, and the caution.
Oh! Caution, flag waves right as Tom Ogle leads it at the line. And, oh, man, you see the 05 there. I must have started a little earlier, pushes up the racetrack in there.
Yeah, I think Bill Martin, it might have, oh, yeah, the 05. Whoa, that starts way early in 3 and 4. Oh, wow. Oh, the 05 is just I don't know why he's on the banking there. He drove up the track there. That's 100% on the 05 there.
Yeah, and you got to
Wow.
feel for Jerry Isaacs there. You see, he kind of gets
Yeah.
tank slapped there and that, but well, Jerry Isaacs, I said just feel for him, John. He stayed out. He's going to try it. Andrew Medlin stayed out.
I don't think this is not going to end well for those guys.
I'm a liar. Andrew Medlin is on the backstretch pit stop. That's why he hadn't hit yet. He's on the backstretch. Here he comes. But Jerry Isaacs is staying out. Sean Foltz, the man who we had saw. Okay, he's.
Oh, Isaacs is going to get the wave around because he had gone a lap down. So that's kind of when they get waved around the pace car. So he's going to be back on the lead lap, which is not a bad strategy.
No, Isaacs will be the leader, John. He was one of the guys who pit for fresh tires on that last one. Yeah, he's going to be the leader.
I thought he went a lap. Oh no, it was Foltz that just went a lap down.
Yeah, that 59.
That's.
Yep, the 59 of Foltz. Yeah, Isaacs. Oh man, this is. I'll tell you what. He is tied to the whipping post here. I think, John. He is out front, all by himself. Every single car behind him came down and got tires. This is going to be a long close out here for Jerry Isaacs, I think.
What was the quote in Dodgeball? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it works out for him.
Oh my God! Yep. Bold strategy. So you should get those 3 cars up front. Yeah, there they go. They're going to get waved around the pace car. They'll get rejoin at the tail end of the field. Man, Jerry Isaacs.
Yeah, and keep in mind that 78, how aggressive he was on that restart. Now he's going to be behind somebody that I just don't think is going to fire too well. So watch turns 1 and 2 with that 78 car.
I don't know what gives you that hint, John. Maybe the 70 lap difference of tires here, but man, it is. Hold on, buckle up if you're Jerry Isaacs. You're gonna have to make that thing real wide if you want to bring this home. As the green flag drops, we're back underway. Lap 221.
Oh, look at him jump right up and block.
We've got 30 to play here, and they're not going to play nice. Here comes MacArthur.
No.
Big run on the outside. Oh, this is what MacArthur had to do. New leader Dwayne MacArthur saw the opening and absolutely shot for it upstairs. And now Tom Ogle, he has got to go to work. Clearly has had a fast race car here tonight, but it's not going to get given to him here. He's going to have to work for it. And MacArthur going right up where that 11's comfortable.
Oh, and the 11 lost the back end.
Oh, no, he floats up. He gets into the
somebody
trash
else
can.
do it.
Oh, Andrew Medlin gets into the back of the 11.
Now we got a big one. We got a big one.
I did not realize we were at Talladega. Big one on the front stretch.
And again, and I know we don't like to assign blame, but you know what? When you go on the apron and you try to drive her back up, it just does not work.
No, and man, you gotta feel for Ogle, who clearly was trying to grasp there after seeing the gap close, but just picks up the throttle too early. And Daniel, it looked like for the longest time he's gonna save it and be fine, but then,
Man,
got some Mountain Dew in his backseat.
That collected 7, 8, 9 cars maybe. Yowzers.
This is kind of where, you see the tempers start to flare here, John. You're going to try to make moves, and you talked about it. You highlighted it. One guy out there on older tires, it can really change the way you got to...
Yeah, and that kind of jumbled everybody up, that block going into one, and it's tough to throw all the blame there on Isaacs because he did what he needed to do. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. He probably made a couple guys got him a little irritated over that, but he's not the one with the wheel in his hand when you're off the track and pulling her back up on the track and set that whole second part of that in motion there. But, well, we got to look forward because you know what? The pace lights are going to go out on this pace car, and now you're going to have whole new set of people right up front.
Look at fourth
Including
place, John.
Foltz.
Look at fourth
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, including Foltz, who we were just talking about. Weineger's now up here. Your usual suspects are not. And did Jerry Isaacs come in that go around and go ahead and pit? And or he's still out. Okay, he is still out there. So, I mean, I guess you kind of make your bed, you lie in it. I probably would have come in and probably, if I'm Isaacs, probably would have pitted and got some fresh rubber, because I think with the amount of laps, you probably could have made up some serious ground. But
You know, obviously here,
Yeah.
John, too, it's not going to be too much of a difference, but talking about taking fresh rubber, that 07 did that. Don Easterlin, the first guy to go down there and get rubber. He's sitting 7th. So, you know, I mean, 8 laps, but they were hard laps there running green
Yep.
flag. You know, those guys
Yeah.
working for it.
and you don't have to worry. Yeah, and you know, Zach, right now, if you would have done this, even though they're lined up here, so you've made your bed, but you can run now as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah, no, it is definitely go time. And, you know, interesting thing, you've watched that leaderboard. For the top 3, 2 of those guys are in yellow. That guy at the top, Dwayne MacArthur, he wants his name to be yellow, and the green flag
he's
waves.
got the
We're
Bass
back
Pro
under
card.
our way. And, man, you got to think. Oh, we got a car in the
Isaac's just-
outside
yeah,
wall for
Isaac.
1 and 2.
Isaac's in big trouble. I don't know if he blew a tire, but he's done.
I think you're exactly right. Something is broke on that thing, and, you know, he's going to have to come to almost a stop and bring this thing down and get it off the racing surface, because this is going to be tricky here when the leaders come around.
And here we go. We got a battle for that top 3.
Oh, man, somebody might want to hit the
Oh,
warning
we got
button.
another caution.
And Andrew Medlin, we had talked to him earlier in the night. He was involved in that last caution collected on the inside, and looks like he's just trying to maybe stay
back on the. He got down on the apron. He got down on the apron, and you just don't get the grip down there.
I'll tell you what, though, John. That Navy car of Dave Mattson, I believe that was, he is thanking whoever for that 9X. No, that was Andy Thomas, excuse me. Andrew Medlin hits the 9X there when he loops around, and if he does not disappear, oh my gosh, Andy Thomas, he is, oh, that was going to be a wild ride for him. He got real lucky.
Yeah, Isaacs finally took some repairs and whatnot.
And anxious to see, you know, I mean, he went in there, he did take those tires. I wonder, you know, if that was possibly a flat tire, something wrong, because just a normal pit stop
Car
time.
didn't turn.
If coming in by himself, though, John, I would have thought, you know, you'd sit there, repair that car a little bit. But just the normal pit stop time, in and out real quick.
Now we'll see where he lines up here, because I got a feeling he's going to be able to make some. He ninth, yeah, ninth. I mean, you don't. There's not a whole lot to lose or gain there from pitting, so he's going to have an opportunity. You know, we get this going with 10 laps to go. I mean, top 5 to 7, not out of the question.
No, and I mean, realistically, this is no shot, you know, at any of these guys, great drivers here up front. But the way Tom Ogle was paced, you had to think he was going to be the guy here tonight.
Yep.
Now the fact that you've got a shot at this thing, you know, John, I'm one of those guys when you're pacing around, my foot's shaking. You know, I get the nerves going. You think these guys are feeling this thing? It's go time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially with a little more craziness than what we're used to with the OBRL here. So a lot of unpredictability. We're gonna have about 15 laps to go. Stand on it. You know, that's my advice for these guys. Stand on it.
And we'll have to see. Everybody on pretty good tires. Now, I like where that 07 is. Outside of row 3, he's got the freshest tires. Keep an eye on Don Easterlin here as the pace car pulls off. In the 83 of Dwayne MacArthur gets ready to drop that hammer, and we're back underway. 15 laps to go this time by. Courtney Nelson trying to get momentum there. He's going to take a peek here on the bottom. We knew he could do it earlier. Now he had way fresher tires. Can he do it while they're even? Doesn't look like it right now, but he is trying.
He is hooking the bottom really, really well. But he's also, with the lack of laps left here, he can run it hard. But look at this, Koska's going to get in here.
Yeah, I think Courtney maybe took a peek up in that rearview mirror, went down and blocked that entry. But sometimes you got to do that. You're trying to set up a pass while defending at the same time. And Courtney right now trying to make it work. So we got Sean Foltz running there in 4th place. He's watching them dice up. Remember, he was a lap down. Just got the lucky dog about 20-some laps ago. So, Sean, if we would have pulled him up and said, hey, buddy, you're going to be running in the top 5 in 20 laps. Keep that chin up. I don't know if he would have believed us, John.
No, a lot of things have happened here in the last 20 minutes or so.
10 laps to go this time. As we
what
go
about
down.
Weiniger pulling the top 5 too. That's a good run for him.
Yeah, and Daryl, one of those guys, was smart all night. We saw him save those tires. I mean, he was using the bottom to pass there, even halfway into that long run. So, Daryl, he's got long distance pace, but he's showing right now in a short run he can go after it. He can go get it. Really, 4th place isn't out of the question for him, but got to keep our eyes up front here. As Courtney Nelson, he's trying to peak low. Oh, he's coming, John. Dwayne really had to back out of it that time, and we see the gap close.
Yeah, I think Courtney is faster, but it's just a matter, does he need the track to get around him? And look at Isaac's. Isaac, I do think he should have probably worked on that car a little bit, because that car is not up to speed.
Yeah, definitely in the long run, just going to hurt him. But at the end of the day, still out on the racetrack collecting points.
Yep,
that's what you want to see. And we've got 5 laps to go this time. Not a lot of time. Who you got, John? Is Courtney going to steal this thing, or can Dwayne hold on?
Wow. I know we're not supposed to play favorites, so I'm gonna go with the sponsor on that car, seeing it's a Bass Pro car. I want to see that Bass Pro car get to victory lane.
I'm not ashamed to admit this. I am Team MacArthur right now. Punch your way into the playoffs, Dwayne. You've been so close, and you're 3 laps away from a checkered flag here in Thunder Valley. And John, he's kind of stalled that gap out. I don't.
Yep.
Courtney's catching him. This is looking good. He needs this thing to stay green.
I think Courtney was driving so hard on the bottom, probably heated those tires up. Not so much the tire wear, but probably heated them up where the grip level is just not there. He's going all the way up into the wall in the middle of the corners.
White flag in the air. One more trip around, and Dwayne MacArthur is now a 1/4 mile away from locking himself into the playoffs. Final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag waves, and Dwayne MacArthur survives 250 laps at the Thunder Valley to bring home the checkered flag. Courtney Nelson, P2. Kotska rounding out your podium. Sean Foltz, lap down, not a lap down, finishes P4. Amazing run for that 59. And Daryl Weininger, longtime friend John, rounding out the top 5. He is going to be elated.
Yeah, and Ogle, who was a dominant car here, I think wound up 14th. Hill and Robinson, all those guys, I think were in contention up to, 20, 30 laps to go. Yeah, they're all right there actually together, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
You know the deal, man. Rather be lucky than good. And I'll tell you, that 83 was lucky tonight. Looked good in the process. As you see
I think he was lucky and good. He had the pace. That last go-around, he was not letting Ogle get away from him.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was lucky, but he looked dang good in the process. He was quick, always there in the picture, and survived to bring it home. But he disappeared there. He needs to go get a drink. And I'll tell you, John and I, we need to do the same. So we're going to step away here for a minute or two, and we will be right back on the Virtual Grip Network with your rundown, your final order, in your top 3 interviews, so stick around. We are back live on the Virtual Grip Network, and man, 250 laps at the Bristol Motor Speedway did not disappoint. Little more cautions than we're used to in here, but you kind of expect that when you come to the place, like I say, that coined the term Rubbins Racing. We saw that tonight, and let's take a look here at that finishing order. Of course, your winner, locking himself into the playoffs, Dwayne MacArthur, Courtney Nelson, P2, and Andrew Kotska rounding out the podium. Sean Foltz, I can't touch on this enough. About 30 laps ago, he was the lap down. Brings that 59 back, parks it in the top 5. Great run for Sean Foltz. Darrell Weininger, 5th. Lloyd Moore, 6th. Mark Schrader, 7th. Don Easterlin rounding out the drivers on the lead lap. Jerry Isaacs, 9th. and Michael Dow rounding out the top 10.
Finishing 11th is going to be Tom Massey, followed by Andy Thomas. Andrew Mellon, Tom Ogle, and Daniel Hill will be round out the top 15. They are followed by Josh Robinson, Greg McDaniel, James Hillsop, Bill Martin, and Brian Lynch, who comes home 20th.
The boss man, Victor Lane, coming home in the blackjack position. Chris Bates, 22nd. Alan Wanamaker, 23rd. Lucky Larry, 24th. And Dave Matson, 25th. Brian Lindsay, 26th. John Hastings, 27th. Bruce Pearson, 28th. Torrance Childs, 29th. And Kelvin Monsieur, the top 30. John, I think we got 3 more left. Can you handle it?
I think so. Bob Fellenball, Robert Garisco, and Roger Hurley round out your field tonight.
Yeah, early nights for them, but well, I don't know if they want to hear this or not, John. I mentioned it earlier. We're coming back, so we're going to have to figure this place out. It's not always your best friend, so hopefully they took the notes here and can have a better turnout next time. But I'll tell you, we're about to talk to our third-place finisher, Andrew Kotska, and he had an amazing time tonight. Andrew, checking in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, guys. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. You know, maybe not that qualifying effort we're used to seeing out of the 40. You know, starting 16th, you made yourself use the shovel a little bit. Man, you dug your way right out, got up to the top 5 in no time at all. But, man, you had to live through some exciting accidents. How did we needle our way through those things?
I don't know. I think it was just pure luck. I did not expect a podium tonight, seeing some of the speeds tonight there. So I think a little luck went my way to kind of help me get up here to P3 tonight.
Yeah, and, you know, sometimes what do they say, Andrew? Rather be lucky than good. And I know you're one of those guys, but, you know, you're not cocky about it. I'll do it for you. You're excellent at saving those tires. But it seemed like tonight at Bristol, man, on that long run, you seem to be struggling a little bit. What was it about this racetrack tonight that just made those tires kind of go away?
You know, I think that run there, there's just a mixture of some older and newer tires, and then I just kind of pushed a little too much and kind of just got those tires a little angry at me. And next thing you know, I see Courtney like 3 seconds back on my relative, and luckily he got that caution to come out there to kind of save me, to keep me on the lead lap.
Yeah, you know, that was the time. I mean, he ended up finishing second there, but that may have been the strategy of the race there for him. He had took tires when all you guys stayed out, you know, kind of needled his way through the field. But at the end of the day, Andrew, a P3 is what this 40 needed. You know, we haven't seen you on the podium in a while, and, man, it's good to have you back. So congratulations on a heck of a run. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys here with your broadcast. Excellent job every week. And the admin team here at OBRL, I know they have some busy nights here. I'm sure they're going to have a busy night here tonight, but thanks to them for all of their hard work. And thanks to everyone out there watching on YouTube, all family and friends. Glad I can get a P3 tonight and chat with you guys here again tonight.
Well, hey, heck of a run, Andrew. Congratulations, man. And, you know, we're rolling in. Well, we have next week off, so happy Easter, you know, but 2 weeks, we'll be at Talladega. I mean, you know as well as I do, that's a crapshoot, but do we have a drafting partner? Do we have a friend going to try to help you bring it home to Talladega?
Yeah, I think I might have a couple friends out there. We'll see how the race goes, you know. Maybe I'll just ride it out. You'll see how I feel after Easter, if I've eaten too much ham or not.
We'll be rooting for you. Congratulations on a great run. Love having you here, Andrew. Good job.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Andrew Kotska bringing home P3. And now my man up here beside me, he's got the guy who brought home P2. John, who you got?
I got Courtney Nelson. And Courtney, I want to start off by just going, wow. You had probably the most yo-yo kind of race, up and down the running order. First, just tell me about your night. You know, once you crossed that start-finish line, or, you know, what were your thoughts?
I was glad it was over.
I imagine so. You know, but you never gave up. You had some trouble there early. You stayed out, got a little track position, and made it all work for you. What do you attribute most to you being able to bring her home to P2?
A lot of it was luck tonight. When I made the mistake and about spun out, got back in the field, I was like, the day is done. And then all the cautions, and when I stayed out that second time on tires and got a lap down, I thought I was really done. So it was a lot of luck tonight, and then at the end there, just full sending it and hoping the tires were going to hold out.
Well, I'll tell you, the run before the last, very, very last run of the checker, you know, when you finally made your pit stop, you drove by a lot of cars to climb all the way up there. And actually, I think, if I remember correctly, take the lead. How did that feel, driving through the pack and just passing everybody at will?
It was, I didn't think I'd have that big, the tires would be that big of an advantage going through the race, but it was, I had to be cautious about going into the corner too hard and stuff like that, because the center corner speed was massively different. So it was tricky, fun, but I didn't want to wreck anybody or cause any issues.
Well, Talladega's next, so, you know, when you talk about needing luck on the track, that's definitely going to be a track. Let's hope you didn't use up all your luck here, because that's a track you're going to need it at. So, well, my friend, it was fun to watch you come through the field. Congratulations on a second place finish. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, my teammate James, he helped me out with some practice this week and everything. The typical, all the admins, Tom, Dwayne, Victor, you guys. This has been one of the best seasons I've had so far, so I'm enjoying it.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I hope you have a happy Easter, and we'll see you on the other side of that break.
You guys have a good night. Thanks again.
Yep. That's Courtney Nelson, and Zach, you've got the winner.
Dwayne MacArthur, welcome to the playoffs, brother. How are we feeling, man? That was a hard-fought one. You had to work tonight.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic right now. It's been a while since I won on a Sunday, and to win at Bristol, I didn't think I was going to win tonight. I was just kind of riding around watching the concrete kid, Mr. Ogle, and wow, yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, you know, I mean, obviously, tough break there for Tom, but when you see he's involved in that little... Well, first off, you didn't see it. That just jarred my mind. Dwayne could have been the move of the race. I mean, it made yourself survive. When you saw that opening on the outside on that restart, did you know that you had to go? Because, I mean, dude, it just literally popped in my mind. I can't believe I forgot that. That was the move. That's how you won this thing. If you don't do that, I mean, you're in that wreck.
Yeah, I assume that things happened there underneath me or behind me. When we got all side by side and there was a lane, I just had to keep pace, and there was a nice lineup along the wall, and I overdrove it a bit to try to clear, and actually I didn't expect to clear everybody, and I came out and I was free and clear, and I figured something must have happened because I shouldn't have been able to clear them both in one corner.
You know, I mean, obviously, everybody, especially in a league like this, man, the quality of drivers you're out there against, you got to play smart. You got to play it. You can't do anything really crazy. Did you use all your extra sets of tires, or did we go home with one? Because to me, it seems like a lot of you guys may have had another set left, or did you use them all?
No, I think everybody was out. It should have been out of tires. Courtney seemed like he got his last set earlier than us. That very last pit stop, I think Tom and myself and probably Andrew and everybody else that was kind of around, I figured was putting on the last set. So, yeah, it was fortunate timing because I think Courtney getting those tires early. If another caution didn't come, he would have just drove away. So it all worked out.
Well, hey, man, if the dog wouldn't have stopped to take a you-know-what, he would have caught the rabbit, and he did. And, man, you were able to bring home the checkered flag here tonight, Dwayne. You have had a lot of good runs, but a lot more bad luck this season, and we are so glad you finally got the rabbit off your back here. You got yourself in the playoffs. Congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout-out first. Actually, I'm going to give a shout-out to my wife right now. I'm actually in the car racing into the city to pick her up. I'm late because of all those cautions, so thank you, Ricky. And I'm almost there. And the second shout-out to Tom Ogle. Actually, he's the master of Bristol, and I know we're on rival teams, but I messaged him this morning, asked him a couple of questions, and he set me straight. I haven't been on this track for a couple of years, so I definitely learned a lot for 200 laps just following him around, and and it really paid off. So he has a real neat technique to save the right front here. I just tried to mirror him and learn as much as I could, and it paid off.
Well, hey, man, don't drive as fast to pick up your wife as you did out there in Thunder Valley tonight, because you were a lightning, man. Congratulations on the win. Can't wait to talk to you again, Dwayne.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. And shout out to our sponsors and our admins and everybody else in this league. This league is incredible. I'm so happy to be back, and pretty pumped that I won on a Sunday already. So here we go. See you in the playoffs.
Let's go, Dwayne. We'll be rooting for you. Congrats, bud.
Thanks, brother.
Dwayne MacArthur, man, husband of the year here. He remembered to thank the wife first. That's important when she's waiting for the ride, John. I don't know if, I could get away with that one. I may be getting a couple phone calls by now.
I'll leave that one right there. So, you know what? What a great race tonight, though. You know, it was a lot of unpredictable moments in the race. You know, you never knew what was going to happen around the next corners. And, you know, I know that, you know, it's unusual for this particular group to have cautions, that many cautions in a race. But you know what? Sometimes the best leagues have them. It's okay. And these guys will all be able to take a week off to kind of regroup and come back and have at it at Talladega.
Yeah, you know, I think that's what they need, a week off to refresh. And I know we think Talladega, you know, driving on the highway, but when you do it the way these guys do it, side by side the whole time, nothing easy about that. So let's take a look here. You know, I was going to lead that in. Let's take a look what's coming up next. So that will be April 27th, obviously, next Sunday, Easter. We'll be eating some ham, and I don't know, what is... shame on me. I should have asked those guys, but John, when we go to sit down Sunday, man, what's got to be on that plate, dude?
Oh, got to be ham, mashed potatoes. Yeah. So, you know, the thing is, for us for Easter, it's just, you know, enjoying the family moment. So that's probably, to me anyway, more important than what's on the plate. So I mean, there's some traditions on the plate, obviously, but. It's kind of cool, you know, especially after the year with my daughter and everything else. This one's going to be a little more special, I think, than the ones in the past.
Well, if you want them to be super special, you make some of Grandma Chapman's salmon cakes, okay? And you put them on the plate because, oh my gosh, they are delicious. But like we said there, next Sunday, taking it off. The following Sunday, that's when we'll be at Talladega, April 27th. At 8 p.m., so make sure you tune in. We'll be right here on the Virtual Grip Network. But coming up tomorrow night, got a little MVRL ARCA series, and, a little birdie told me I'm going to be in the booth with my man Soup tomorrow, and that goes off at 9:25. John, am I going to get to see you in the race car tomorrow night, or are we busy?
No, you'll see me in the car, most likely.
Oh. All right, well, rolling into Richmond, I mean, it could get a little physical. Do we expect some cautions, or how are we going to see this thing roll tomorrow?
Hey, I'm just happy to finish races like that. I'm a dirt guy, so you know, if I can just stay out of everybody's way, that'll be my goal.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm going to try to stay out of Soup's way because he has been the leader in there. I'm going to have to follow the man, but that'll be, of course, tomorrow, 9:25, so don't miss that. You'll get to hear this lovely voice again, and, you know, that's going to do it for us here on the Virtual Grip Network for tonight. I'd like to thank everyone at the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series for a wonderful 250 laps here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. But on behalf of everyone at the Virtual Grip Network, we'd like to thank John Hine for showing up, the dude in the back, Ryan Seneker, and last but not least, all of you. Have a good night.